Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Anything But Hold'em. We are here today at playing Full Tilt, the miniFTOPS pot limit Omaha high-low event number 9. I should have changed my title before I went online, but we will deal with that. miniFTOPS number 9. $22 pot limit Omaha high-low. I think we're playing in this game with at least one other person that I know. Jamie Staples streams here as Poker Staples, is currently online streaming this game as well. I haven't seen him at a table yet, but we're playing six-handed, so it's kind of unlikely that we're gonna necessarily see him at our table. Oh, just doing some administrative stuff as we get started here, so bear with me. Hello, changing my title. Uh, 997 Jack. We're going to fold that in a high-low context, I think. It's just not going to pay off for us often enough. It's a better deal probably in a strictly high context. You got straight draws, a pair of nines is not horrible. But I think in a high-low context, it's not going to work out for you real well an awful lot. Got the snow cam back up for a couple of minutes here. It's not the greatest picture in the world, but as you can see, it's pretty nasty weather here in southern Alberta. We had a wicked wind/snowstorm last night, and just the roads and stuff are just awful with drifts, and it's nasty. So it's nice. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to play this one actually because of my day job schedule, but well, snow day today, so I'm at home from work, and I figured I would go ahead and jump in. Didn't manage to satellite into this one, mostly because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to play it, so I didn't really spend a ton of time until this morning trying to satellite into it. So I didn't quite make it. So I've actually bought in for full price, plus I paid a little bit of money for satellites, so I'm actually in for a little bit extra on this one than 22 bucks. But that's all reflected in the bankroll stats that I've got posted online. For the record, have a look at my profile page here on Twitch, or right below the channel here, and you will actually see a link to a Google Docs sheet there. I'm keeping a bankroll tracker for the stream based on all the satellites that I play for main events and the main events that I play. You'll notice that on the sat page I don't have any episodes marked. That's because I didn't play those on stream, but I'm still going to keep track of any satellite that I play that's intended to get me a ticket to a main event that I'm going to play on stream. I'm going to track as part of the stream bankroll, because I think it's very important to track bankroll management and look at profit as opposed to total wins and things like that. And profit count, whether I'm making a profit in this, it really does come down to including satellite costs, failed satellite costs in it as well. So yeah, it's all going to be there. Even if I don't play it on stream, if it relates to the stream in any way, I'm going to be playing it. I don't know why I was hovering the fold button there. I'm obviously aces and tens with not so much the nut low anymore since the ace is on board, but we got a pretty decent low draw anyways. If another low card comes, we're probably going to nut out with at least the split pot. Now that said, at this point, we certainly have to consider Tom having a set at this point, I think, but I'm also not sure that we can fold. Right, so this is basically nutted out. Now we're probably going to split because I'm going to guess that Tom is nutted out with an ace X hand as well, and therefore we're just going to end up splitting this pot down the middle. I'm guessing we're going to split both top and bottom. Yep, split both top and bottom. So. Oh, we didn't split both top and bottom. He took the flush. Yikes. Alrighty, I gotta pay more attention to that because that was a quartering. That was nasty. Boston Poker, thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. We'll do our best. That was just a nasty hand that I just had there. That was kind of I should have paid more attention to. I think because I didn't actually see a flush out there, so I was pretty sure I was pretty sure that I was splitting the high with the ace deuce 3 4 5 wheel straight. But yeah, so I need to pay more attention. Clearly. Righty, so we got a single raise. We're gonna call there. I'm pretty happy with that flop. That doesn't give me the nut low draw, but it gives me the second nut low draw, which I'm pretty happy with. I'm obviously going to check to the razor and see what ST does. I don't think I'm folding here ever. Whether I call or raise would be another story. Clearly, that's not the best card for my hand. I've got no diamonds, and we still haven't hit a low, so still drawing to hit anything, and that has just bricked us out basically. So we went from a hand with a lot of equity after the flop to pretty much a steaming pile of dog poo. Now we could try a bluff there. We'd pretty much have to pot for that, and I don't think that he's going to fold a lot of hands to us in that situation simply because of the way it went check, 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 check. If we try to pot there, it's just not gonna be believable. So I suppose he might fold complete crap that bricked the low and was only on a low, but that's, yeah, I mean, throwing in a bet on that odds seems pretty loose to me. So, hey, McVegas, Rob, how you doing, man? Doing good. Nice to see some folks here watching out. I'm gonna see what we can do. Last time I played 08 on stream, I took down the daily fixed limit 08 tournament on Stars. That was Monday or Tuesday? Monday, I think it was. Maybe Tuesday. I'm not sure. No, Monday, I think it was. Either way, so this is a pot limit 08 tournament. I have to say right up front, I'm probably not as good at pot limit as I am at fixed limit. And I will freely admit that the reason I'm not as good at pot limit as I am at fixed limit is because fixed limit is way easier than pot limit because there's a lot less possible decision points to have to consider. But I'm pretty confident in my high-low game in general, so I'm, reasonably happy here. Clearly, we've got the up and down straight draw with the 4, 5, 6, 7. 5, 6, 7, 8 as well, or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would. So the 8 would give us the straight. Well, I guess the 8 gives us straight anyways, but yeah. So we're definitely up and down there. I don't really think I need to be aggressive on my draw at this point. My stack is small, and I don't really want to be risking the chips at this point in such a bad positional hand. I mean, I'm obviously with the 4 deuce and with the 4 7. I've got a fairly strong hand on both ends, but I'm not really nutted on either end. And that 7 is actually like the worst sort of river that I could have possibly imagined, because it does give me the low, but it completely kills any high that I have. A pair of 7s is absolutely of no value whatsoever on this board. In an Omaha context, it's just that you'd be silly to think that pair 7s is good. And the 4 deuce is a really weak low hand at this point, for exactly that reason, because people are going to have ace deuces, 3 4s, 3 deuces, that sort of thing in there quite a bit. So yeah, I mean, at that point, your hand's largely worth nothing. Yeah, I honestly did not even see the flush hit the board. Lost. That was totally me being an idiot and not paying attention to what was going on because I did not even see that there was a flush on there. I was positive that we were splitting that pot down the middle, splitting both high and low. So there you go. Oh, I'm still running episode 2 in my corner, so I need to change that to episode 3 now. Episode 3 so far has not gone terribly well for me, but hey, we still got chip and share. We're still happy to go. Pretty sure in the fixed limit Omaha daily the other day that I took down, I was down under 1,000 chips at one point, pretty badly, and then doubled up a couple times to get back into it. So, um, you're never out of it in these things, and especially with Omaha. And I mean, Omaha in general, of course, is a really swingy game. Um, Omaha high-low even more so. There's you'll spend entire levels doing nothing but splitting pots, and then all of a sudden there's 2 or 3 scoop pots, and 6 people are out of the tournament. It really is a super swingy game, and you can all of a sudden have the biggest stack in the tournament or nothing just on the turn of a card. So it's pretty crazy game. I like it though. It's fun. I like all the high-low variants. Really, probably this as my favorite kind of poker. It would be the high-low variants now at this point. Um, it's one of the reasons why I like horse so much because we get 2 versions of high-low, plus we get a Raz thrown in there as well. So it's one of the reasons that I love horse so much. I could certainly play the 6-3 with the king-queen. I don't really think it's going to be strong enough on either end to. I mean, I suppose as an open in relatively late position, I should probably think about doing that as steal things. But at this stage of the game, I'm stealing 75 chips, which doesn't really do a huge amount for my stack, and I'm risking, on a hand like that, I can't really withstand 3-bet, right? So I have to really, I think, be a little bit more careful on those. This one with the ace deuce and the nutted spades, I'm obviously interested in, and will continue to be interested in. Yeah, it's a good point, McVegas. That's why certainly when the turn came, my hand was getting a lot weaker, for sure. So we missed our spades. Our nut low has just been compromised, and we got a pair of aces. So yeah, we're not doing so hot in this hand at this point. Don't have a ton of equity here. I'm going to guess that there's almost certainly another ace out there. Whether it's an ace with a higher kicker is a good question. But I think that ace fives and ace eights are going to be out there a ton. So 2-pair with the ace at this point is really likely, which basically leaves me dead to a jack or a 9 if that's the case. I also think we're going to see sets of 5s pretty regularly here. Set of 8s, not so much, because the pair of 8s is a bit high to be playing for your low hand, so it's not going to get played quite as often. And I think actually I'm weak enough at this point that I'm going to get out of the hand because I really, just the pair of aces in an Omaha context is really not something that is going to be good. And the low is so badly compromised at that point that, I'm sort of at that point hoping to get a split pot or get a split low. So. So yeah, I think getting out of the way there was probably the best move I could have made. Seeing the 10 come on the river obviously makes that a happier thing for me, I think. But this is the first miniFTOPS event I've played. I'm definitely playing the stud high-low tomorrow as well. So I will be streaming again for that tomorrow on the stud high-low. And next week, I'm doing everything in my power to be in that 25 game because that is just going to be an absurd amount of fun. I think it's hard to imagine something that's more going to be more fun than 25 games rotating across the tables. Um, and I mean stuff like playing Irish. There's going to be 5-card stud in there, which never plays online. It's just gonna be insanely fun, I think. Ooh, ooh, ooh! This is a very pretty high-low hand. This is the sort of high-low hand that we dream about at night, and especially when people are raising into us at this point. So I think we're gonna pot, frankly, and I think this is the hand we're making our stand on. Oh yeah, this is the hand we're making our stand on. Absolutely. So we're gonna half pot, see what he does. Probably gonna call, and then we pot the turn. I think on almost any turn. Absolutely, we're potting that turn. Well, I mean, obviously I can't pot. I've got less than the pot bet back, but whoa, there we go. Nicely split. Nicely split. Yeah, I was definitely vulnerable on the low with deuce three there, but not much I can do with my stack at that point. I've pretty much gotta make my stand with a hand like that. Pretty much gotta make my stand there. If I'm not going to make my stand there, I shouldn't really be playing the game. Actually, to be honest, I think this hand is another one where I pretty much got to make my stand because we've got a raise, a call. I think if I don't pot 3-bet pair of queens with a 5-3 low with my stack, I mean, I just think that I've got to be involved in this. It's just too strong a hand to fold, and I don't have a stack to be able to call with. So I'm sure a 3-bet pot is my only move there. However, if you guys want to advise me on that, I'm certainly happy to. Obviously, that's like about the worst flop we could have seen, but I don't think again at this point. Can we check fold this at this point? Do we want to check fold this? I don't think so. I just think we gotta put our stack in and go. Got lucky on the split there. Definitely got lucky on the split. I think. So I'm lucky to still be in the pot, still be in the game after that hand. Again, though, I don't really think there was anything else I could have done. And you know, with the stacks I'm having, I've really got to be rebuilding. And I mean, obviously I can wait for hands, but when I'm seeing stuff like this, it's really hard to be folding this with the amount of equity that I have. Calling, I'm in position here. This is the big difference between this hand and the last hand. I was out of position in the last hand. This one I'm in position, so I think that calling behind is going to be a more useful thing. I don't think that I'm folding anything out if I bet here. Seems unlikely, so I think checking back and taking the free card is probably my best option here. I like the ace. It makes my 4-deuce low draw much stronger. But again, we don't have anything at this point other than draws. So I think checking back and taking the free river is always going to be the way to go here. So pair to king, there's no low draw. I think that the odds of him having an ace are pretty good. You know, obviously a lot of the busted low draws he's going to play are going to be containing an ace in them. So I think probably folding here is going to be the play that, you know, I don't think that the king is going to be ahead very often there, if ever, frankly. Get rid of this one. Jack, queen, pair of threes. It's really not going to, I've got no low possibility there, and the rest of it's just pretty weak, so I think I need to get rid of that. So it's interesting. The stream is showing the hand now with the queen, queen, 5-3. So I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say about that. Deuce 4-4 king. I could definitely play this, but I think I'm gonna give it a pass. It's one of those hands that looks stronger than it actually is. And yeah, on a flop like that, I'm really not very happy. I really want to see an ace on the flop to make my deuce 4, to make me happy with my deuce 4. Obviously, an ace 3 is super, but so yeah, and that would have just been bad news for us if we were in here. Deuce 3-6 with two suits. I think we're playing this one, and I think we're making our stand on this one. Yeah, lost. That's sort of what I think as well with the queen queen. I mean, I think that I've gotta be putting the value on that hand, and be willing to put my chips. If I'm not willing to put my chips in on a hand like that, what am I willing to put my chips in on? Really. Folds all around to our pot bet there. I think our image at the table is pretty loose at the moment. My stats, according to my HoldEm manager, which is recording this Omaha high-low, I'm at 52 VPIP, 24 PFR. So I'm thinking that they're probably thinking I'm pretty loose passive um, at this point, which I don't necessarily think is an accurate description of the way I've been playing. I've been getting some pretty good starting hands to go in on, and I don't think I've necessarily been. Um, yeah, I mean I don't know, but I do think that that's the image we have. So I think we're going to get called probably more often than we would normally expect to. So I have to sort of factor that into my decisions as well, I think. What's going on with our blinds here? We got blinds going up in 2 minutes to 40-80, at which point I will be just over 10 big blinds. They are 12-minute levels, so we're playing fairly slow for an online tournament. Oh, pair of deuces with a deuce 4. Yeah, I mean, again, I think this is probably one of those hands that looks better than it really ever is. You're going to get your lows are going to get nutted fairly frequently. Um, I think in that situation, and it's just not going to turn out well for you. I really probably should look for an 08 HUD. I'm running HoldEm Manager 2 right now, and I think it's probably worth me investing. I haven't actually invested in their Omaha module, and I probably should. I think it's probably worth me doing now. When I first got this, I was not playing any Omaha whatsoever. But yeah, I think it's probably worth me investing in it now. Although it is tracking it for me. I think there's a limit on the number of hands it'll track for any given other opponent, though. And I think that is 50 hands that it maxes out on. So yeah, I mean, I think I have to go back and get a license for that, and I probably should. It's probably worth me doing at this point. This one, of course, is only the sort of hand that I'd play in an Omaha high context, and I'm not even sure I'd be playing it very aggressively in that context either, frankly. Folding there. Excuse me. So yeah, the Queen 9 8 4 is never really going to do good things for you in an Omaha high-low context. So you probably want to kick that one to the curb most often. Yeah, I think I'm probably seen by other people's HUDs as a bit of a fish on this table at the moment. Got a 15.4 3-bet rate, 0% steal, and aggression of 0.9. So I think that's going to be, I think that's going to make people kind of look a little askance at me, most likely, if they've got those same numbers on me, which I'm assuming they do. I'm assuming at a level like this, pretty much everybody that I'm playing against has got some sort of a HUD that they're running, I think. Oh, the fact that we're double suited here and we've got two possible straight draws makes me want to get involved in this hand. Calling's probably the worst of the three choices now that I've made it, for exactly this reason. I probably wanted to be the one that was the aggressor in this pot. The question now, do I want to call and see a flop out of position or a 3-bet my stack all in on what is, at the end of the day, a pretty weak hand, or just fold out? I think folding out is probably the worst of those options. I'm not sure the call is any better, but we're going to make it. Hit 7s and 4s with our club draw. So I think at this point, we've got no choice but to put all but our last 4 chips in the pot and then call our last 4 chips. Full house. 7s full of 4s or 4s full of 7s, whichever you want to, however way you want to read that. I'll take it. With a nice double up. A bit of a suck out there, I must admit, but hey, I'll take it. Dazzler, good to see you here. Good to see you guys. I'm clearly not doing so hot in this one, not nearly as well as I was doing in the Flow 8 the other day, but it's okay. It's still early. We still got chips. We still got a chair. We're still playing in the tournament, so there's nothing to cry about here. There is nothing to cry about here. And we just sucked out with 7s full of 4s or 4s full of 7s because we hit both of those, depending on which way you wanted to read it. So yeah, doing okay. Pretty happy here on a snowy Thursday morning in southern Alberta. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, Mr. Kata, Mr. Kata. Ooh, Mr. Kata, Mr. Kata. This is a hand that we're definitely playing, folks, if you hadn't already guessed that. This is a hand that we are going to the mat with, I believe. This is a stack doubler is what this is. Oh, yeah, when we get bet and a call, we are 3-bet potting this every single time. Every single time. The only way that this hand is any better is if this 8 is a club instead of a spade. But, I mean, at the end of the day, that's a pretty small point to quibble over. When you got a hand that's that pretty in a high-low context. So I honestly think that 3-bet shove is my only move there. Now, ironically, this is a much weaker hand in the high-low context. I mean, obviously, in a pillow high context, you're loving the ace queen with the ace queen suited. But at this point, it's actually not that strong in a high-low context because my low draw is basically dog poo. I mean, I do have one, but that's about all I can say about it. Three clubs on the flop is obviously not what I was looking for. I think it's probably worth the continuation bet, even though I'm a C-bet 100 at this point, which is probably a little fishy. But nonetheless, I think I still need to throw a 3-bet out there. When I get raised, how often is he going to have clubs? We've got the ace blocker. So, I mean, I honestly think that he's not playing clubs all that often. Has he hit a set? I mean, obviously, that's one possibility that he's playing a set of 9s, set of 10s, set of 6s. But in high-low context, that seems less likely. Although he did just call pre-flop with his... well, what the hell? You only live once, right? Aha, there we go. See, and the main reason that I repot that there, if I don't have the ace of clubs, I'm probably never repotting there. But with the ace of clubs, I think that I really have no other choice. Thank you, Lost. I appreciate it. That's great. I'm going to be folding this one out. Just too weak on all ends. So I think our first little bink there was pretty much just dumbass luck, where we hit the sevens full of fours, and there was no low hand, and we scooped the whole pot. That last one that we took down, that was I'm gonna be the first to say was definitely a good play, and I think that I read the board right, and with my ace of club blocker there, there's really nothing else I can do other than reshove on him there. Nice, buddy. That's the way to do it, Dazzler. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna have the super high roller from the EPT up on my screen here pretty quick while I stream as well. So yeah, I'll be watching along with you. I'll be watching along in the high roller with you when it starts. I think it's still an hour. I think its start time is still an hour away, isn't it? Let me have a quick look. Or is it already running? I thought it was going to be starting at noon my time, which is still like 25 minutes away. I'm going to go do a quick little bit of a Twitter promo while we're here. Yes, final table super high roller coverage starts at 1400 EST, which is 1200 MST where I am. Nice one, thanks, Lost. I just got the tweet. That's awesome. That is awesome, dude. Yeah, we're gonna dump this one. No low possibilities. The 9-10 Jack is a little attractive there, but not attractive enough when you've got no low at this stage of the game. Deuce 6 for low. We got two suits, but neither of the suits is nutted, and they're pretty weak. Jack and 9, not the best flush cards to be going on. So I really think you're just going to end up in tears a lot when you play that hand. Pretty much the same thing with this hand. It's just not going to work out well for you very often. I think being in the big blind to a min raise, we probably have to call to defend and see what comes down on the flop just for the odds. But of course, being PLO with no antes, the odds are actually not as good. We're getting basically 80 into 280, so 3.5 to 1 odds, which when we don't have any low whatsoever, I guess it's worth seeing a flop. And on a flop like that, uh, we did flop a lot of wrap stuff there, so I think we probably are check calling this fairly frequently, and that has just 6, 7, 8, 9. No, we do not. Yes, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have got our straight going, nut straight. So I think at this point, since he checked back to me there, I think I probably need to put a bet in. Clearly that spade was about the worst card that could have come for me. I think probably check calling is the thing to do here. That spade clearly does not make my life very, very comfortable at this point. My straight is pretty weak, but when he checks back, I'm obviously in pretty good shape on the high end. Nutted clubs, second nut spades with the ace deuce. Seems pretty unlikely that we would get rid of this hand. And this is one that we're going to play fairly aggressively, I think. Nice, Daz. Thank you, buddy. Thanks for the retweet. Much obliged. And I think being out of position here, I want to be the aggressor, and I want to repot this. This is just too strong for me to be dallying about and calling and trying to hit when I'm out of position. I think that I want to be putting the money in. I got to say that's a fairly good flop for my hand. We're obviously looking for a queen, but I'm pretty happy with it at this point. I've still got both my live flush draws. I probably should have bet into that, but I have a feeling that Tom has definitely been calling me. So I think that I'm not getting folds out of him very much. Top two pair now to a queen jack is interesting here. I think given the check back to me, I'm going to put in a slightly bigger than pot-sized bet on that, and he's going to call me. I think it's a check call situation here. Probably there is no low. Clearly, the queen jack is still killing us, but that's not going to be out there very much in a high-low context. So yeah, no surprise there that it turned out with a split pot actually, but. $32.18. I'm not terribly unhappy with my position at the moment. I'm obviously not top of the leaderboard. I don't have a huge stack, but I'm in the game. I've got 32 big blinds. I think I'm making relatively good decisions for the most part. I've obviously made a couple of mistakes, but I pretty clearly admitted those and seen them, I think, when they've happened. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the way it's going so far. I think we've got a good chance of going deep in this one today. And even taking her down. When I logged out of Staples chat earlier this morning, I told him I'd meet him on the final table, so I've kind of got a promise to keep. Excellent, Lost. I'll check that out and have a look, and I'm absolutely going to try to get into some of the games this afternoon as well that you guys got running on the series that's going on now. I'm sorry I haven't been involved more. It's just been it's been crazy, and I keep forgetting to register in yours when I do have time. So it's really bizarre. I haven't been looking at the home game screen very much. You obviously could play a hand like this in a high-low game. It's not a terrible one, but it's not going to be great for you most of the time. Alrighty. Thank you for all the Twitter love, everyone. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Much obliged. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Oh, my email just came through that says PokerStars just went live with PokerStars Caribbean Adventure live stream on Twitch. I'm guessing that means they've gone live with the. We will be starting at 1400 screen is probably what's live right now. Under the gun, I'm going to call here, see what action goes for the rest of the table. Again, I'm not really sure that's a great decision now that I'm thinking about it, but I do have a hand that's going to be strong on the low end quite a bit, and I'm in position now with this. So I'm pretty happy to call behind, I think, in position and just see how we go. I'm guessing that his action is indicating a high pair of some sort and probably some sort of a low draw as well. It wouldn't surprise me ace deuce with the way he's playing. Wouldn't surprise me king ace X. I think either way I'm not going to be good there very often, I think. I think that with his pre-flop action and then the way he pots on the flop there, I think that imagining I'm actually considering folding king pre-flop here just because of, but I mean obviously I don't think that's going to happen. But it's not the best hand in the world, and it always brings an ace on the flop, um, which is frustrating, right? But it's the way it goes. They're like ace magnets, as they say. If I had a low draw, I might continue in this hand because you're thinking that the ace hits him, but hits a low draw and cripples a low draw on him a lot of times. But I really don't have. I mean, at that point, my kings are pretty much dead, and and I've got no lows. So I mean, I think that I'm probably not working there. I think maybe pre-flop I want to repot that, even though I've got no low. Gives me a chance to win it without without going any further on the pre, and it also gives me the betting lead, which makes it more likely that I've hit that ace. So I don't know, maybe a um, yeah, no, that does sound good. Although it's a bit funny for me in Canada here playing a summer series, but I understand you guys are on the bottom of the world instead of the top of the world, so that makes sense. So it certainly hasn't been a smooth sailing tournament for us, but I'm not hugely unhappy with the way it's going either. I think we're making fairly good decisions, and I think it's just a matter of time before we hit one of those hands where we're going to be able to scoop a big pot. We are way down the list, 400th out of 570 remaining, or out of 570 total, 442 remaining. But of course, we still have late reg open through level 14, which we are at level 6 now. So I'm sure late reg is going to be at least another hour or two, anyways. 12-minute levels. We're going to be in level 7 soon, so there's going to be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So 8 more levels of registration, 80, 90, yeah, it's like an hour and a half left. So it's like going to be another, yeah. There's tons of late reg left in this. So 3, 4, 7, 8 with spades. I think this is clearly something we're going to get involved in. I think raising is always going to be preferable in this spot over the call because it gives us the chance to win like that, which I think is something that we want to take with a hand that's as vulnerable as the one that we just had there. It's kind of cool at the super high roller there. We got 2 Canadians at the final table with Sorel Mizzi and my brain has just gone blank on the second Canadian that's at the final table. I know there's another one at the final table. I've just gone totally blank on it though. So we got second nut, spade draw. Not the best low draw in the world, but I don't think that's going to stop us from being involved in the pot. Paired board now does not make our life terribly happy. Um, I'm happy with the king. I'm happy to value bet the king here. I don't think he has a queen. If he has a queen, I would have heard about it on the turn, I'm sure. Um, so, so yeah, I mean, I just don't think that he's going to be on. Um, got a position. I want to see the flop here, even though I'm out of position. So we pair to 3. There isn't much of a low draw out there. We do have diamonds, but they're pretty crap diamonds. So I think continuing with a half pot bet here is probably not gonna pay me back very often. Oh, of course, how can I forget Greenwood? Greenwood's there. He's such a quiet guy. It's pretty easy to forget him sometimes, I think. But yeah, Sam Greenwood's just a beast. Um, I don't think we're going anywhere on this one. That gives us the second nut low, which I think I'm pretty happy to be calling for value with here. I think we split this. I think I take low, and I think he probably takes high. The question is, do I want to value bet? I think I can actually get some busted high draws or some weak highs off the pot with that 7. I don't think I'm ever getting his hand off the pot there, but I do think that with that 7 on the board, I could get like a queen, like a random queen off the hand and take it down where I might not deserve to. So I think it's probably worth the value bet there. I'm fairly confident in my low draw pretty much all the time there. So, alrighty, I'm gonna go off and catch up with some break stuff. I will be back. We'll chat soon. Yeah, I guess you guys are more likely to hear me when I turn my mic back on after the break. So here I am, back from the break. Actually, I'm back for a couple of minutes, yakking away, apparently to myself because my mic was completely off. So that's cool. That's just the way it goes some days. PCA is going to be starting up here pretty darn quick, I think. So looking forward to that. Catching the high roller with Canadian beasts Sam Greenwood and Sorrel Mizzi, along with just general beasts. Um, like Andrew Robo and just kind of small guys, Christoph Vogelsang, Brendan Kenny, Steve O'Dwyer, Roger Sipple, just kind of average guys, right? 3-3-A-6. I think I like this hand. I'm not in great position, but I'm not in terrible position either. We'll see what happens. I don't think I have a strong enough high to be going too crazy with this pre-flop until I start to see how the low pans out. Pair of sixes now with our ace 3 low. That's a hand I'm pretty happy with. I'm obviously still losing low to the ace deuce. And obviously the ace deuce is going to be out there sometimes, but in a pot that is not raised pre, um, the ace deuce is just not going to be there very often. In fact, the ace 3 is very strong to be in there on a limped pot like it was. So, I think that's going to go. I think I'm playing this one. I think I'm playing this one most of the time. The straight possibilities are just too strong to pass up. I know the lows are pretty weak, but there are lots of ways that can change. Anytime an ace or a deuce comes on the flop, the value of your low is going to increase quite a bit. So I think it's definitely worth playing. And obviously with the raise, I'm going to have the chance of taking this down pre-flop without anything else a reasonable amount of time. So I think it pays off in the end. That would be one of those reasonable amount of times, apparently, that I take it down on pre-flop without anybody contesting. I think I'm obviously, for 120 into 600, I'm obviously going to see a flop with this and see where we go. Not the greatest flop in the world for our hand, not the worst flop in the world for our hand. I think obviously we've got some gut shot and backdoor straight possibilities, but I really don't think we've got enough of a grip on this hand to be continuing. I think we just gotta get out the way. 3-5-7 king. I will sometimes play the 3-card connected hands like that, but I'm usually pretty leery out of position when we're not looking at a very strong low draw. I mean, I'd really want to be an ace 3-5. I'm probably playing the 3-5-7. It's just going to end in tears far too often. I mean, a hand like this, I've hit the 7, but I'm in no man's land at that point, right? The my low draw is crap, I got no spades. I got second nut spade, but I can't even really use that as a blocker card. Um, so yeah, I mean I'm just in a world of hurt on a lot of flops. There's very few flops that I love with a hand like 3-5-7 king in a pot that saw action pre. Deuce 8-6. Yeah, again same thing. Now the fact that I'm in position, I think it's probably worth putting a steal in here. The blinds are moving up, and I need to keep up with the blind rounds. So I think throwing in steals when we're in position is going to be a fairly useful thing. And I suppose I pretty much have to fold to this 3-bet most of the time. You know, I really just gets one of those spots where I have to say, right, I was trying to steal, and we're done. It's gonna happen. I like the pair of queens for high, obviously. The 8-6 for low, I'm not quite as happy with. Um, I think we're going to play it anyways because the queens are just too strong to um, pass up. It's interesting that Pinish folds to a less than pot bet in position and 3-bet us out of position with a pot from a pot bet. That's telling me that he's playing fit or fold fairly conclusively, I think. I mean, correct me in chat if I'm wrong, but that seems really bizarre that he would do that. I mean, clearly he could have had just a completely crap hand at this point. But if you're going to 3-bet me like that when you're out of position, you know, and fold there, what it's telling me is that you had a really strong hand when you were out of position. You have a really weak hand here when you're in position, and that's a pretty strong, you know, if that pattern continues, that's certainly something that I can use to my advantage as we go down the road. So I'll have to watch that. I'll have to see where his 3-bet pattern on me comes in, because I know he's 3-bet me a couple of times, but I haven't actually been paying enough attention to really remember exactly where and how and what the circumstances have been that he's 3-bet me in. I always tend to put more strength on the 3-bet out of the small blind than I do on the 3-bet out of the big blind as well, because the big blind has more at stake in the hand and is more, I think, therefore, the price is always going to be better for him to be trying to win the pot. For the small blind to just up and say, I'm gonna 3-bet the pot here, knowing that I'm out of position for the rest of my life in this pot, you know, I think that that's going to be a minus EV play a lot. God, I can't believe I'm folding kings. But in a high-low game where you don't have a low draw like that and you're under the gun, I think your only other option is to pot there. And given my image on the table at the moment, I don't think that's getting through. And I think that it's going to end badly for me in many cases. Now, I think in this case, I think my kings are probably still good. My kings and sevens now are probably still good, but it's, you know, I'm not thrilled really at this stage. So I think folding's, you know, you don't love folding kings. Now the fact that there's no low on this makes my kings a little stronger. But yeah, there was the 7, and you know, I'm my kings are dead. So I think that's I don't know. Maybe folding kings is a bad idea, but it just seemed there like it was not a spot that I should really be putting a crap load of money in on. 346. I'm not thrilled with the low on the 3-4, but there's a lot of ways that that can improve to a good or a nutted low hand with certain flops that come in. And I think in the big blind with 160 into 800, I think that I really have no choice but to at least see a flop with the two suits. So 4-6 has given us two pair. We don't have much of a low draw happening, but our diamonds are still alive potentially backdoor wise. I think it's worth leading out on. I know that that's a bit of a donk lead because we weren't the ones that were aggressing pre-flop, but I think that might confuse some people. And yeah, there we go. I think we might have folded out some low draws there that would have beat us, or beat us for half the pot down the road if we go there. I mean, we're obviously not going to fold out an ace deuce there, but I think if somebody was playing a 3 deuce or a 4 deuce or something like that to that bet, they're probably getting rid of it. So the pair of threes isn't really strong enough to do anything with, and I'm not tied to a queen 3 flush draw. This is one I'm going to play, even though the low draw isn't great again, with four connected cards under 8 or 8 and under. I think I'm definitely interested in playing the pot. This is another spot where he's in the small blind. I've potted and he folds, so he's definitely playing fit or fold for the most part. I think, and I think we can sort of put that. At least at this point, I think we can sort of decide that his 3 bets are going to mostly be for value, especially if he's out of position. Well, I think anywhere that he's in, his 3 bets are going to be value 3 bets, not light 3 bets most of the time. This is another one that we want to, the 3-4-5, the 3-5 diamonds, 4 cards 8 and under. I think we've got a pretty strong position in the hand, and being the betting aggressor is probably what we want. So the ace is obviously not a terrible thing for us, and the reason that it's not a terrible thing for us is because anybody playing nutted ace hands has now just been, or semi-nutted ace hands has now just been counterfeit. We do have the third nut low draw at the moment with the 4-3. The 4 deuce and the 3 deuce beat us at the moment. So as I was saying before, I'm thinking that Pinish's re-raises are pretty much always for value. And I think that's the case here. So I think that getting out of the way is the way to go here. Yeah, I mean, I think the aces and the nut flush draw to the ace deuce low. Yeah, I mean, that's clearly. I think getting out of the way there was clearly the thing to do. But again, 3, 4, 6, 7. I mean, I think this is another one that I'm gonna be involved with. And I think given my stack, I've got no other choices at this point other than potting. I'm potting or folding is the way it goes until I can build up a few more blinds, and I have a few more other options. But I mean, I've got just over 10 big blinds, so there's really only It's really only a couple of choices for me at this point. I'm either potting or I'm folding. Obviously, if we're playing results oriented, it would be nice to be in this pot for the 10s and 8s. 10s full of 8s, I should say. You know, that said, there's not a huge number of pots, flops that I'm going to love with 10-8-5-4. So, you know, although it would be an awfully good spot with no low possibility now, it would be an awfully good spot to be actually in this pot with my 10-8, but what are you going to do? I think even without the low, that's my only move. I don't think there's really any reason to be considering playing this one with no low possibility. At this stage of the game, I think having at least a chance to hit a low of some sort is a vital part of any hand that you're going to play. This low is about as crappy as you're going to get for a low draw with the 8-6, but I think with the pair of kings, God, ugh, ugh. That's gross, but I don't think I have much choice. I mean, that low draw is just utterly, utterly revolting. Um, and when somebody's playing an ace low draw and the ace comes, my kings are dead as well. So, I mean, it's not a spot that I love the shove in. I'm also getting called by Fonbet, although I cover him, but not by much. But I'm getting called by Fonbet 100% of the time, I think, here, too. So, um, you know, the question is whether other people get involved. And so I'm now three-handed. So the ace deuce, the ace comes, of course, and I'm done. Yeah, we're out of here. Alrighty, well, that was fun. That was fun. We finished in 418th place. It's going to happen. Um, I'm not, I don't know, that last hand, the king is probably, I don't know. Like I said, it you know the low ace hands that call are gonna always beat me when the ace hits there. But when the ace hits there, that also tends to cripple their low draws, which means my 8-6, although it's never going to be very strong, does become a more playable hand. So I think still think there's reasons to play that, and I think that given my stack, I can't. There's too much value in that hand to fold it with the kings there. Um, you know, I suppose if you're looking back at results, I want to play the 10-8 hand, and I don't want to play the king-king hand. But I think if you're looking at the hands that are gonna potentially work out for you down the road, I probably want to be playing the king-king hand, not the 10-8 hand. Thanks for coming by and hanging with me today. It didn't work out for me this time, but that's cool. It's going to happen on a fairly regular basis in these things. I think if I manage to be ITM 30% in these things, I'm going to be thrilled and jumping up and down. So 3 and 10, you know, and if I manage to get 1.5 and 10 or 2 and 10 cashed, I think I'm probably going to be doing pretty good and staying in the profit. So going to be losing more of these than I win, obviously. I think that's the case for all poker players. But it's fun to come in and do these, and it's going to happen. So thanks for hanging out with me, and maybe we'll see you later on. I think I might jump into some PokerStars daily satellites, and maybe I'll play another daily later on today. Anyways, we'll talk to you soon. I'm out.